What's up, guys? It's your boy MC Midget, Top 5 Lucio here for Console Lucio Guide. Um, I said I'd make it. Here it is. I'm sorry. My voice is a little annoying to listen to. I had a cold. I'm not feeling too well. I'm a little down in the dumps. But I promise I'd get this out to you. So here it is. Feel free to drop a sub. It'd be appreciated. Like the video. And keep an eye on my channel for my next couple of guides. Thank you. I peaked I peaked at 42, 45. Sadly, I fell down to 38. A lot of bots lately. A lot of throwers. Pretty toxic. I know I've been struggling a little bit. I've had a little bit of depression, so I mean I've been struggling while playing, so that's probably a factor. But I'm here to make this Console Lucio guide. I'm going to be going over settings, how to deal with certain hero matchups, basically trying to get everyone on console and give them the ability to play Lucio at a high level. It will apply to PC as well, but this is mainly going to be for Xbox and PS4 players. So especially the settings. The PC, your settings are probably going to have absolutely nothing to do with what I'm going to be going over in this video. This first part to the guide, I'm going to be going over my personal settings and what I feel is most comfortable, and controller mapping. My second video, which I'll get out as soon as possible, I'll be going over basically wall ride. I'm going to try and do every map, and I'm going to show you the best ways to contest, to flank around, and maybe get a sniper or something. I'll show you where a majority of snipers play, and I'll show you how to get up there while being sort of sneaky and able to take them out quite easily. And I'll be showing off some of my favorite routes to go and boot people also at the same time. A third video, I'm going to be going over dueling tips. I'm basically going to go over every interaction I can think of for 1v1 duels for all the heroes in the game. Any tips for how to survive, when to drop the beat against certain heroes, when not to, stuff like that. And then I might be making a fourth video basically going over any damage combos that Lucio can pull off, and any small little nuances, like stuff that I think I do that really help secure wins that I don't see very many other Lucios doing. So first off, I'm gonna start off. I'll show you my stats. Just keep in mind, I did drop 400 SR, so they really have been slacking. I'm gonna be honest. This season, I have 19 hours of Lucio. In all competitive seasons, I have 156 and 191 in all modes. In all my competitive seasons, I have a win percentage of 55 with him in those 156 hours. This season, my win rate was floating around 68 when I was up at my career high, and then it really did drop off a lot. It fell down to 50 flat, and I'm trying to climb back up, but the grind's been real. Like it has been actually insane. A lot of people throwing, a lot of bots. Like, oh my god, I've been playing a void roulette with every single bot I've had to run into. I've had people Q sniping me because they recognize me off of Reddit, and they've been throwing my games. It's ridiculous. So there's that. Here's my weapon accuracy, which I want you to keep in mind. It's 30%, which compared to a lot of other Lucios is fairly high. It was hovering around 35, but then I tried switching up my settings to see if I was more comfortable with something, because I saw a post on Reddit basically saying that aim ease in for heroes that are projectile helps a lot. So I tried that. Didn't really work for me, so I turned it off. I also believe my crit hit accuracy is 9 or 10%. My KD is 1.62. Again, that fell. It was around 2.1, but this this meta for Lucio is actually AIDS. It's cancerous. Playing Lucio against Baguette and all these different heroes, Rhine, Zarya. It's actually awful, and that's something I will talk about. Is Lucio is not going to work on every map, especially if you haven't put in the time. Like, I've put in so much time into Lucio, I can play him into pretty much any comp. That's why I'm not scared of Baguette meta. I know I'm weak in it, and that's why I just have to be careful. Elim's 12, well 13 technically, I guess. That's alright. I know some Lucios have a lot higher. I try, and most games I'll play really aggressive to start, and then as if I'm getting away with playing aggressive and the enemy team's not punishing me, I'm going to continue to play aggressive, and I'll body him most of the time up until the victory screen. But if I'm getting punished or I'm staggering myself, I'll usually back up and I'll play with the team a bit more. Deaths, I average 8 per 10. That's a little high. I'd like to get that down to maybe 6-ish. Final blows, I average 2.5, which is decent. Usually my teammates will make calls. They'll be like, all right, Mercy's 1, Ryan's 1, and so I'll rush up and I'll try and boop them. I'll try burst, boop, melee, just to get a quick little burst of damage into them and try and finish them off. Solo kills, only half a game. I know when I was at my peak, it was about 1.7, mainly because I was on point then. Objective kills 7, objective time 2:19 or 2:18. Lucio is one of the heroes where you can contest, and if the enemy team isn't going to focus on you, they're going to have a rough day pushing the payload or any objective, and that's why I'm going to make that the contesting route video. Hopefully I'll be able to show you guys what I do to get my objective time that high, because it's extremely high. Hero damage, I'm at 3,600. Usually I always spend more time healing. Healing's only at 7k this season. That's because there's been a lot of triple support. It's hard to get those heals off. Like you can see, last season I was 1,400 higher. The season before I was almost 2k higher. I think maybe that is 2k. So this season the meta is actually really hard to heal with Lucio. It's hard to get the beat drops to charge quick enough. So those are basically my stats. So I'm going to go over my personal settings. You can change anything you want to find something you're comfortable with, but I have reasons for why it's set like this, and I'll explain that after I go over my settings. It's sort of like a scientific reasons, I guess. So here it is. My horizontal sensitivity is 45, vertical is 30. My aim assist strength is 100. My aim assist window size is 100. I tried turning that down because someone on Reddit suggested it. Didn't really work. I was definitely putting out less damage, and I wasn't finishing kills as easily. It made dueling really hard, especially like tracers and stuff, which I usually don't have a problem with. Aim smoothing I turned down to 70. I'll explain that in a minute. Aim easing I have set to 0. Vibration I have on, and I'll explain why in a minute, because I know a lot of players don't like it, especially at a high level. They don't really like vibration. Okay, so I completely forgot to explain this later, so I'm just going to plug this in right here. The reason I like vibration is because personally my hands are very sensitive and keen to touch and everything, so vibration helps me through muscle memory and my sense of touch. I can realize how many shots I have left in my clip. So for example, you can cancel Lucio's burst firing with a boop or a melee, and there's a different feeling for boop, melee, and his burst shots, so I can realize how many shots are left in the clip. It's my personal preference, and I'm used to it. You can turn it off. It's completely your call. I do suggest trying it and trying to learn and memorize the feeling for shots and everything, because it is really cool once you realize that you're that good at Lucio. So I mean, it's completely up to you. Like dual zone. I enjoy it. I do suggest you try it, but it's not essential. But I think dual zone works best for me. My reticle, it's just a dot. I like to have it a color I can see clearly. Like, I think lime green works the best. Red's also decent. Sometimes it can throw you off on dark maps. But I personally prefer lime green or yellow. Dot size max and opacity 100. I like to have something that is small to where it's not taking up a large portion of the screen, but it's also clearly visible. So that I think is also another reason my weapon accuracy is so high. So I'll go over my settings real quick. Projectile heroes, I think it's very useful to have a higher horizontal sensitivity over vertical because it helps you keep your aiming more flat. So once you find the headshot level, which I'll demonstrate in another video, once you find the headshot level, you're going to be dealing a lot more damage. Your ult's going to charge quicker, and you can clean up squishies a lot easier. You can increase the sensitivity from what I have. I know mine's fairly slow compared to a lot of players. Like here, I'm turning at max speed. But I like it. I like it this slow. I'm comfortable with it. It helps me aim. I'm used to it. I really find it useful, especially wall riding. I'm used to it, and I find it beneficial to have a slower sensitivity. It's preferential. You can turn the sensitivity up, but just know that what you want to do is, instead of going up, say, by 10 points at a time, you want to go to as high as you think your sensitivity can be, because the reason for this is every time you change your sensitivity, you're automatically worse. Until you get used to that sensitivity, you're going to be worse. So you want it up as high as you possibly can. And then if that's too high, let's say you give it an hour of gameplay, you're still not hitting shots, you're not getting used to it, and then you turn it down a little bit. You don't ever want to go up exponentially. You don't want to just keep adding points to it. You want to take points away until you find something you're comfortable with. Aim assist, strength, and window, that's easy. Just hitting shots, especially while dueling, because you're either going to be up close in someone's face, or you're going to be at medium range where you can aim for the head clearly, or you're going to be spamming down chokes. It's very simple. I like it up at 100. You might not. I mean, it does pull my aim. I'll see it pull my aim every once in a while, but I think it's more beneficial for it to pull my aim, especially on console, than for me to whiff shots. Aim smoothing. So here's the thing with aim smoothing. Imagine you have a big T on your screen that stretches from the top of your screen to the bottom and from left to right. Your controller, when your aim smoothing is high, it wants to stay on those planes. So let's say you're looking, here, look. So I'm turning with a little bit of angle down on my joystick. Not much, but enough to where like I'm clearly doing it, where I can see, but I'm still moving on a straight plane. Now, when I go to move up a little more, that's where I can start moving up like this. But this again just helps with headshot level. The higher you have it, the harder it is to get pulled off these up and down planes. So for example, like if I'm aiming down like this, it's a lot easier the lower the number it goes, and I'll move down quicker. I have it set to 70 because personally I like having it on the headshot level, but I don't like it so strong to where I can't pull off if needed. Because for example, Farah's pretty prominent right now, so I like to be able to wall ride up, aim at her wall riding, and changing angles I'm shooting at. Now, aim easen. It's sort of the same idea as smoothing, but instead of it being a T, it's an X. So the higher it is, the harder it locks to your X on the screen. So like 45-degree angles from corner to corner, pretty much. And I don't like that at all. I like, if I'm going to be aiming off this linear plane, I want to be able to do it freely. I don't want it to lock to this X and then I have to pull off of that X also. It's very funky. It's odd. I know some people can play like that and it's comfortable to them. It's decent for hit scans. Mouse and keyboard it's actually very good on, but again, if you're using a mouse and keyboard on console, you're a scummy person. But for PC, from what I hear, it's actually fairly decent. Console, it's just I don't think it's implemented as they intended, so I don't personally use it. I tried it and it's really funky. It makes it hard to aim for me, so that's why I use those settings for Lucio. I'm gonna go over controller mapping because I have mine set in a very specific way. Oh, also hero specifics, I do have on allied health bars. I think you should for every single hero, but especially for supports. And then I allow backwards wall riding. That just gives you more options to escape fights, to fight wall riding. It's very simple. So crouch, I'm gonna switch my settings a little bit. I'm gonna put toggle crouch to circle and regular crouch to L3, and I'll show you why. Here's my regular crouch. I just press circle once and I'm like this. Now look how fast I can crouch spam while pressing circle. You might be like, hey, that's pretty fast. That's about as, but the problem is you can't crouch strafe while aiming. You have to have your circle, or you have to have your thumb on circle or B button, and you're basically unable to aim, which is not useful. Now this is regular crouch, which I'm pressing my L3 button. A lot faster, and I'm able to aim while crouch strafing. Again, preference. If you think it's better on a certain button, by all means try it. But I personally think that it's way more beneficial to have it set to this. Jump is L1. Pretty much for the same reasons as before. You can aim while wall riding. If you're holding X, your thumb is off the joystick and you're unable to aim. That's why I think one of my weapon accuracy is so much higher than a lot of Lucio players, because I have my settings configured to be able to hit shots while wall riding. Ability 1, crossfade, I have that set to X. That's just because you don't need to use that ability while aim. Ability 2, that's your amp it up, that's R1. That's default. Triangle, that's your beat drop. Again, default. Primary fire is default. That's the burst. Secondary fire, boop, that's default also. R3 is melee, default. Reload is square, that is default. Now, communications. This doesn't really. This is completely your preference. Like this does not affect your gameplay in the slightest, I believe. I just prefer it being like this. Communications menu, I have it set to down on D-pad. Hello, I have it set to my right on D-pad. That's just because I love BMing. I love booping people off and waving goodbye to them. That's just what I enjoy doing. My spray, I have it set. I have one of them set to the top button. And then usually my second one is my down one is circle, so I can also spray that one whenever. And then my voice line, you can hear it, boop. That's my left on D-pad. That's all just so I can do this stuff without having to pull up a menu for it, because I don't like having to do that. It's clunky, and personally, since I make montages, I like to be able to wave hello without pulling up a menu and obstructing people's view and stuff. So that's all preference. If you put it like this, I mean, it's memey, but it's whatever you think is going to make you better. And those are my settings. Those are what I believe is beneficial to me, and I think they'll be beneficial to you. So just wrapping it up, you can go back to my sensitivity. You can check that out, pause the video, try it out. After about an hour of gameplay, you'll know whether or not you're comfortable with it. If you're not, tune it up. You might want it higher. I don't suggest going lower, because that'll make it extremely difficult for you to kill flankers or anything, or to peel off your team to escape team fights when you guys have already lost. So I do suggest having it at least that speed. But if you enjoy having it faster, if you're more comfortable, if you think you can hit your shots, by all means turn it up. But I do suggest, instead of just turning the regular sensitivity up, I would turn aim smoothing down. This will increase your sensitivity, as well as it gives you more free reign to move around. And then even if, let's say you turn aim smoothing down to 50, which I personally, I think that would be the lowest I would ever keep it. I wouldn't suggest turning it down lower than that. If it's still too low for you with aim smoothing at 50, then I would turn your sensitivity up, because it's also good to have that flat plane to aim on, because just for finding headshot level. So that's when I would turn the sensitivity up and not aim smoothing. And really, if for some reason you're a freaking crackhead and you need 100 and your aim smoothing is not high enough with 50, or your sensitivity is not high enough with 50 aim smoothing, then I guess turn it down. But that's a little crazy, and I do commend you for being able to play at a high level on that sensitivity. So this is basically basics video. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna get my wall riding video out as soon as possible. I'm gonna be going over contest routes on every map, flanking routes, and routes to go and boot people, all for every map. So thanks for watching. If you learned something, feel free to drop a sub. You definitely won't want to miss my other videos. I've been working with a bunch of buddies of mine, all GM level. They've been helping me. We were writing script and stuff. We're like, hey, is there any, I mean, you play this hero. Is there anything certain Lucios do that agitates you? Is there anything, like, I know what I do that can help kill these heroes, and everything else, but is there anything that anyone's like done to you as Lucio that you're just like, wow, that really annoys me, or that's actually a smart play? So I've been working with people. I've been getting basically a bunch of tips together for every hero, and so that will be coming soon. So if you drop a sub, hit the bell if you want. I don't really care. I mean, you'll probably see them. So if you do that, you'll be able to catch my other videos. I make a lot of montages, a lot of Lucio montages. They're fairly fun to watch. I think I put a lot of time and effort into them. So if you wouldn't mind, I don't know, watching a couple of those, give me some views, that'd be cool. Share my channel around. I'm definitely growing. I'm trying to, at least. Overwatch is dying a little bit. I mean, it's not dead. People say it's dead. It's not. It is losing popularity. It has been 2 years. So if you want to drop a sub, share my channel around, get me some growth, I would very much appreciate it. I'd like to thank everyone on Reddit that has subbed me in the past little bit. You guys actually have like helped keep me motivated to make this guide. I promised I would do it for you, so here it is. So thanks. I'll catch you in the next video.